Growing up, I've never seen a Muslim speaking on stage or a hijabi or even like Afghan women. Don't you know they don't put people like me on the news? Yeah. Don't you know people like me can't be victim, only villain? I write because I know the narrative that I hold, and I'm aware of how often the narrative of an Afghan woman, as a Muslim woman, is kind of shoved to the back of the closet. There's that idea of my mother always saying, "You're fulfilling my dreams. You're becoming the woman that I wish I was now, because you have those opportunities." I am every single woman back home. My name is Marjan Naderi. I am a spoken word artist and teaching artist. Do you raise them up? Oh my God, I can't memorize this poem today. I'm gonna start over again. I don't know what told me to sit down and write. My first poem that I had competed with, the worst thing I've ever written. I look back and I'm like, I can't believe I did that to myself. The second time I was like, this is better than the first one I wrote. And this actually speaks more to who I am. It was a poem about my mother and like her journey growing up in Afghanistan. My mother tells me how she never learned to spell her name as a child, how education sifted in her throat like sandpaper because all the teachers were male. My mother is definitely a role model to me. She always emphasized on education and to always be pushing against that current. When you tell people you're Afghan, it's like an automatic, like, whoa. I see this glimpse of, that's a threat, like, stay away from that. It's like, I'm never American enough outside because I am Afghan, because I am a Muslim, because I choose to wear my hijab. And then there's the, oh, you're not Afghan enough because you didn't grow up in Afghanistan, you don't speak it perfectly. Nonetheless, very proud to be an Afghan American. I love this country, though sometimes it feels like it doesn't love me back. She taught me to white out my name in the Farsi dictionary, reminded me for a family tree to stop growing, you gotta rip it from its cultural roots. Only those who obtain that paradise will be able to go to Jannah in the Akhirah. Take a couple minutes and write about reliance. I think that all of my processes to writing something very vulnerable is very similar. I have this habit that when something does happen to me, my mind likes to completely forget it or black it out completely. I wrote my first piece about something that had happened. I wrote it about sexual assault. At the time that I was assaulted, I was 12 and 13, and the first time I had spoken about it was I was 15. I'm screaming to the desert mountain in silence until it cracks open my heart and pours ocean of hatred and steals the only purity I knew of. For so many girls under the age of 17 to come up and be like, hey, like you just spoke my truth. I'm still, like I'm a poet that's speechless. It was more of like a wound that had not been closed and I just poured salt on it. But if it were not for me speaking my truth, I don't think I would have been able to explore that trauma. Because if I cannot breathe through it off the stage, I can't breathe through it on the stage. And I guess I should have saw this one coming. After all, like father, like daughter, right? Personally, for me, why I ever got into slam, it was because I was given a platform to speak. I was given a platform to read poetry. Even when I went to the international slam, it was like no hijabis. And it was like thousands of people. I was like, what? But yeah, it's still really dope. For the Library of Congress's National Book Festival, I placed first there, being known as the first one to do so, or one of the first Muslim Americans to touch that stage, and then to also win it. So that was super dope. That was really awesome.
What was I supposed to do when you asked who Baba was? What would I do then? Would I tell you the only time I saw him, he reeked of cigarette butts lit out by moonshine?
If people don't see representation in the spaces that they would like to go in, they need to create that for themselves. So tonight is really exciting. It's basically the top 10 poets of DC, Maryland, Virginia. And we all go and we compete and we slam. Last year, I won second place. Doesn't matter where I am. If it's in front of two people, I am nervous. But I kind of use that to my advantage, and I shift that nervousness into power and into emotion.
Right now, your next poet, Marjan.
And then my heart just goes into it, and I perform, and it goes. To the boy who claimed, my faith is the reason his people are being murdered. Can't you see I am America? I am the fearless. I've become the symbol to bravery. I've learned to embrace the bigot and have my hijab wave to the rhythm of hatred. Have my echo salute justice as my jihad, because every voice that protests for change speaks in harmony for the rest of liberty's people. Now tell me, boy, what is more American? And then the moment that it's done, I say the very last line, and I'm walking towards that stage. Even if it's a really heavy poem, I cannot help but smile sometimes, because it's like, you did it again. Like, you didn't think you could do it, but you did it again. And I feel like that's something that's never gonna go away.
Grand Slam winner, we have Marjan.
As I go on, I just see more of my identity coming to light. There's that idea of my mother always saying, you're fulfilling my dreams. You're becoming the woman that I wish I was now, because you have those opportunities. I am every single woman back home. I hold pieces of them. For me, maybe my purpose is just to pave that path enough for the next Afghan American, for the next young Muslim that's growing up in this country, for the next woman who's in my position growing up in this country. They can hopefully further on that path and grow it so that more people can go down, and it'll be almost like a smoother transition for everyone else.
Hi everyone, I'm Sari, the producer of Her Stories. Click here to watch more episodes, and if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and leave us a comment letting us know what other people and topics you want to see on the show. And make sure to subscribe to Now This Her. Thanks for watching.